Hello, and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. The SEC's actions recently have shaken the crypto community. What, therefore, can we anticipate from the SEC's protracted case against Ripple? More than 3 years had passed as people awaited the judge's decision. When can we expect one? If that's the case, who do you think has the upper hand? In 2020, the SEC filed a lawsuit against Ripple for offering XRP to the public without first registering it as a securities. However, it appears that Ripple's position is supported by Hinman's published comments. The struggle between Ripple and the SEC over whether or not XRP is a security took a new turn a few days ago when documents relating to the Hinman Speech were made public. The so-called Hinman Papers have prompted heated discussion in the digital sphere. The revelation of these documents has been heralded by many commentators as a major victory for Ripple. William Hinman, director of the SEC's Division of Corporate Finance from 2017 to 2020, made the comments referenced in the records. These Hinman Papers are now available to the public and play a role in the litigation against Ripple Labs. As a result of the announcement, XRP prices increased by more than 7% the next day on the market. Speculators apparently banked on Ripple Labs winning the case it's now involved in. Everybody in the crypto community knew about the high-profile legal struggle with the Securities and Exchange Commission and followed the news with great interest. As a result, investors, members of the community, and journalists have all been scrambling to decipher the documents' meaning since their distribution. A heated discussion sprang out on Twitter, with users debating whether Hinman's comments reflected his own views or the official position of the SEC. Judge Annalisa Torres reportedly ordered the SEC to unseal records pertaining to the case involving former SEC employee William Hinman in May. Many famous crypto attorneys shared their thoughts on this. According to Fred Rispoli, the decision to unseal Hinman's emails is a significant step towards finalizing the summary judgment ruling. Jeremy Hogan concurred with Rispoli and said the order's wording makes it sound like a large chunk of the ruling on summary judgment has already been written. Expert in security law enforcement, Mark Fogel, agrees with Rispoli's judgment, saying it was reasonable under the circumstances. The SEC's attempt to seal papers related to a lecture given by the chief of the agency's corporate finance division, Bill Hinman, was denied by Judge Annalisa Torres of the Southern District of New York. The SEC previously attempted to censor this lecture in 2022 because it explains why Hinman does not consider Bitcoin and Ether to be securities. The SEC's motion was denied on 3 separate occasions by the judge in the case, Sarah Netburn. Judge Netburn ruled that the motivations behind the requests ran counter to the law and were therefore denied. The SEC is using litigation as a means to an end, rather than as an expression of a sincere commitment to the rule of law. The Securities and Exchange Commission first tried to prevent the use of Hinman's speech by claiming that it reflected Hinman's personal opinion and not that of the SEC. After that strategy failed, the SEC argued that the speech was confidential since it pertained to his internal responsibilities. But the request was denied, leaving many to wonder what the Hinman records are actually about and why the SEC is going to such lengths to keep them secret. The Hinman materials are related to a speech delivered by former SEC Director William Hinman in 2018. Based on my understanding of the current state of Ether, the Ethereum network, and its decentralized structure, current offers and sales of Ether are not securities transactions, Hinman said in his speech, dismissing the fundraising that accompanied the creation of Ether. Indicating that cryptocurrencies could make the shift from securities to commodities, this statement was a watershed moment for the cryptocurrency industry. Once things have decentralized enough. If Judge Annalisa Torres rules that Ripple sold unregistered securities, Ripple sought the papers in discovery, and Ripple's request was granted in the second half of 2022, this may affect Ripple's fair notice defense. The SEC has argued on many occasions that the records are irrelevant to the court's summary judgment determination, despite the fact that they might be utilized as part of Ripple's defense. So, after several failed attempts to seal the documents, the SEC recently submitted another request along the same lines, which Judge Torres also rejected. According to the ruling issued by Judge Netburn on January 13, 2022. Since the Hinman Speech materials are not related to a position, decision, or policy of the agency, they are not covered by the deliberative process privilege. Judge Torres ruled that sealing these papers would not be related to maintaining government transparency. The judge ruled that digital papers alone, regardless of whether they are acceptable in court, should be made available to the public under the common law principle of public access to documents. Several hundred pages of documents were provided in the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit, and with their release came a flurry of speculation about what they would reveal. Volatility in XRP surged very up. After a 6% surge a few days ago, the price of XRP has now lost some of its value. The alternative coin's value on Binance fell to 53.01 cents. As the relevant emails and documents are compiled and made public, XRP investors should expect greater volatility. Then why is everyone going crazy over the Hinman Papers? Hinman mentioned this in an email. Attached here is a rough draft of the speech I discussed giving, which argues that regulating Ether as it is currently provided as a security is unnecessary. People were ready to offer their 2 cents, with many in favor of Ripple. Fox Business reporter Eleanor Terrick concluded that the SEC government officials who provided input on the Hinman speech thought the purpose was to provide market direction and tried to design it in a way that would reflect that. So, the SEC lawyers claim that Hinman's remark was just his opinion and not meant to guide the market could be shot down in the Ripple case. Chief Legal Officer of Ripple Stuart Alderete has requested a probe into the factors that may have influenced CEO Jeff Hinman. Bill Morgan, an attorney and XRP supporter, recently tweeted unredacted sections of earlier filings and provided context for the SEC's new approach to crypto assets. Footnote 41 refers to the source material for the excerpt on page 64. An uncensored version can be found here. In 2018, the SEC did not consider lockups to be important and saw them as indicators of a non-security. He predicted in a tweet that the information will be useful in other crypto instances. Everyone is keeping a close eye on the SEC versus Ripple case because of the important role it will play in future litigation. In fact, the judges presiding over the actions against Coinbase and Binance are expected to pay close attention to the outcome of the case between the SEC and Ripple. When asked by Cointelegraph about crypto, legal experts said a day before filing complaint against Binance with similar charges, the SEC filed suit against Coinbase, again saying that company had been offering unregistered securities. Twitter legal expert James Murphy, at metal_lawman, tweeted a few days ago that if Ripple were to win, the SEC's case against Coinbase and Binance would be completely demolished. A finding by Judge Torres in the Ripple case, he cautioned, would not be a binding precedent for these latest submissions. This implies that the judges hearing the case against Coinbase and Binance are under no need to reach a unanimous verdict. Only the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeals can have binding precedent. Meanwhile, pro-XRP attorney John Deaton thinks the SEC is aware of the impending publication of Judge Torres' decision in the Ripple case. This is the information you require at the moment. In a talk he gave in 2018, Alderete Hinman claimed that once a cryptocurrency token is sufficiently decentralized, it ceases to be a security. To determine whether a token is sufficiently decentralized, Hinman came up with a set of criteria. The former head of the company has now insisted that his remarks only reflected his own opinions. However, the SEC looked to it for direction in 2018. The latest release of the long classified records, however, has generated more queries than solutions. Judge Torres' decision in the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit is awaited by the XRP holding community. With the contents of the Hinman emails and the absence of direction from authorities, the payment giant is in a precarious position. In the end, please like and subscribe my channel. See you later, bye.